Okay. All right. So that's good so far. So we've created a spreadsheet. We can download it. What about uploading? Sure, we can upload, right? It's just a file. So let's see how we can use our EP Plus, okay, this Open Office XML, and actually do something interesting with data that we upload. It's actually a fairly common thing that clients will ask for, right? It's one thing to be able to come along and enter values, click the create link, go and fill out all the data. Of course, you have the feedback. Oh, this is required. You forgot to fill it in. That's a great way to enter data. But in the real world, quite often, people are pulling data out of one system, right, that they want to put into another, into your system that you're creating for them. And they might have that data in CSV files or maybe even in an Excel spreadsheet and things like that. So you'll find it's a fairly common thing that clients will ask you, hey, I want to be able to upload data and have it bulk inserted, so to speak. Well, we're going to do an extremely simple example of that. Okay, but I'll talk about some of the aspects that you might want to consider doing a more full-fledged implementation of this. But the bottom line is upload data. Sure, no problem at all. So one thing that occurred to me, we have our different lookup values. So, maybe we've got a few number of choices right now for the reason for an appointment. But perhaps, the user wants to upload a whole bunch of other reasons for appointments, right? That they have thought of over the years or come across in the past, or who knows what, for whatever reason. Hey, it's just an example, right? All right. Okay. So we're going to set up so we can upload a list of new reasons for appointments, right? Now, I thought about this a little bit. I thought, well, where would we want to put that or work that into the interface? And it seemed to me that it might make sense to do that right in our spot where we maintain the lookup values, right? So right now, we actually have our lookup controller, okay, and I have our lookup views. And in here, we have all the different partial views for our lookup entities. So right now, appointment reason, this is the one where right now we generate the drop-down list. Size is 6 though, so we see 6 options at a time. But that's where we're showing all the existing values, right? And then you can click these links to create a new or edit an existing one and so on, right? That's just something we went through just recently. But what if we want to upload? Well, why not do it here where we do other maintenance work on appointment reasons? Okay, so what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to add a little form so we can actually upload an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to do it right after, okay, the select list. I'll put a BR just for a bit of white space, and I put some enters in here just to help make the form stand out from the rest of the page, right? So form action. So I'll make an action, okay, inside the appointment reason controller. Now this case, it makes sense to do it in this controller because this controller is the one that's already set up for maintaining entities of this type, appointment reason, right? It already has everything in place for it. So put the code here, it makes sense, okay? So I'll make an action called insert from Excel in the appointment reason controller. Now we know what these are about, right? If we want to upload a file, that's where these come into play, multi-part form data, enclosure type, and we want to post it and so on and so forth. Okay, now this is also familiar. We have a form group here. Okay, we have input type equals file, okay? It's not multiple. We can only select one at a time, and I'm calling it the Excel, right? And that is what will be uploaded, okay, to our appointment reason controller when we select a file and click our upload data button right down here. Okay, so that gets us into the actual form itself. So let's now come to the controller. So that is its own controller, right? I know we get at it and we manipulate it mostly from the lookup controller, but the appointment reason controller is where we actually maintain the data for it, right? So maybe I'm going to go Control MO, shrink everything down, get it out of the way so I can just focus on the new code here. So what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to make a insert from Excel action. We'll decorate it with the annotation for HTTP post because it should definitely be a HTTP post or we don't want to deal with it, right? Okay, so insert from Excel and a familiar parameter for us, an iForm file. That's the uploaded file, which we called, same name, of course, as the input type equals file, the Excel. Now, big warning here. To keep this simple as I first look at it, there is absolutely no error handling involved. A billion things could go wrong at this point in time, right? They could pick the wrong Excel file. It might not have the data in the right column. There could be a gazillion things that are wrong. Actually, I've intentionally done at least a couple things that aren't really ideal just to show you some of the issues involved, right? So as a basic example, there's no air handling. So, that's something you'd want to think about is, gosh, what should we do? Well, probably need to involve some try catches and maybe modify the approach a little bit. I'll just talk off the top of my head for a moment here. Something I usually do in a situation like this is you want to count every record that's inserted, count how many are successfully inserted, which ones have a problem, if you can even identify what the problem is. Then at the end you give a bit of a summary report, even if it's just showing up using temp data to get it back onto the view, right? To say, hey, we uploaded so many records, 3 failed because of such and such a reason or whatever, right? It's important to give that kind of feedback to the user as well as not crash, right? So try catches are really good for things like that. None of that is in place here right now, okay, to keep it simple, okay? So the simple approach then, assuming everything is perfect, it's a perfect world, nobody would ever upload data in the wrong way or in the wrong column or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about it, right? Because we're all angels. Unless you've been watching Lucifer lately, then I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But anyway, yeah, I have to confess, uh, we've been rewatching, watched it years ago, but we've been rewatching that series. It's kind of a fun one. Anyway, all right, so we just create a new Excel package here, right? Then, using a memory stream, I come to my iForm file, the Excel, copy to async. We've done this code before to get the byte array, right, into our memory stream, okay? And then look at how simple this is, one line, okay? I take my Excel package, I start it up there, and I new it up, passing the memory stream, right? And that byte array will be given to the Excel package, and that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. And our uploaded Excel becomes our new object right here, our Excel package. And we can just immediately start working with it. So we go into workbook, worksheets. Now, the index here is 0. It's just the cells are those funny ones that the indexing starts at 1, right? But the workbooks actually start index 0. There you go. Who can explain it? I can't, but it works. All right. Now, this is kind of a neat thing. There's going to be so much data. So the worksheet has a property called dimension with a start and an end. Start is the very upper left cell, the first one that actually has, any data in it. Dimension end is the very bottom right cell that actually has any data in it. Pardon me, I've got to have a sip of water here for a second. Yeah, so Cole was just letting me know that he has a friend whose band, Wine Whips, has a track on the Lucifer soundtrack. Is that their name? Wine Whips? Hey, I'll have to look for that. That's great. Thank you. All right. Okay, so our perfect world here, we get our dimensions to start and end. Okay. Electric Lady, that's the name of the track. I'll have to try and find that then. I'm sure I can find it in my Amazon Music or something as well. All right. So then I'm going to prepare a new list of appointment reason objects. Okay. And then I'll go with a for loop here, starting at our dimension, the start. Okay. Row right through the end. Now, the assumption is, right, that all the data is in the first column. There's no heading. It's just row after row. Each data element is in one row after another, all in the first column. Okay. All right. So that's how I've set it up, and that's how I'm expecting the data to be. So it had better be that way. So then as I go through each row, I just create a new appointment reason. Okay. Adding it to my list of appointment reasons. And then I can just do a quick going to the database context, appointment reasons, add range, and pass in my list. And that's it. Call save changes, and we're done. And because, of course, we're actually working inside a lookup controller, right? I can just redirect with our return URL, which will be lookup question mark, and then the name of the tab, appointment reason dash tab, right? And that should do the job for me. All right, so let's just see if it does. Okay, so actually, let me just show you here if I get the, go to my downloads folder. So this is up, by the way, in Blackboard with the lesson. You can download this Excel file, right? So you see how it's set up is I don't have any header or anything. It's just all the data. And I got lazy. I got tired of making up names. So I just use Excel's little copy down function to generate a whole bunch of reads and numbers here, right? But let me point out right now, I have a duplication. I have workers' compensation in twice. Okay. That's something that, yeah, you could probably even check the uploaded data, check for duplicates first, use a hash set or something to eliminate duplicates if you want, or just send them all to the database. And if you have a unique constraint in the database, right, then the try catch would be able to help you find that and so on, right? So it's entirely up to you. But, I'm just assuming the data is being provided in the right way. And did I talk about this already? Um, Something that we'll often do in the real world, then, if you're going to get into a situation like this, is you will provide, again, sort of a template, okay, for the user. So they click a button, download the Excel spreadsheet with instructions in it on where to put the data, right? And then they put their data in place and they upload the same copy back again. And that way gives you some control to make sure, at least give guidance to the user on where to put the data in the spreadsheet that they want to upload. Okay, so that's something that's fairly easy to do. And odds are you might be doing next term in the community sponsored project. But in any case, for this is set up the right way. No, I'm not going to save it. It's fine the way it is. All right, so coming in here then, where are we going to get that data? Let's go to maintain lookup values. Okay. If I come to appointment reasons, now let me point out right now our scroll bar is grayed out, right? Because we only have 6 reasons. That's how many were seeded initially into the database. So we can see them all right here. We can't scroll up and down. But if I click my button here to go and upload my Excel file, okay, choose my file, my new appointment reasons. And now nothing happens until I click upload data though. And there we go. So we see it disappeared, but look at this. Now our scroll bar is working, right? Because we have all the data that was inserted into the system. Now the duplicates are showing there because, we mentioned this, we don't have a unique constraint in the database. That's something that was never asked for, right? So the system right now does allow duplication of appointment reason. Should we change that? Maybe we should. Now that I look and see this, right? Actually, of course, I've check that I didn't because I didn't want to have to deal with errors right now. But it shows you that in the real world, then you might think about that's something we probably should have, right? But anyway, there we go. So we have all of our data uploaded and inserted into the database. All right. Well, gosh, I can't believe we used up the whole hour already. But I don't know. I really find this kind of programming a lot of fun. I hope you do too. So just again, thinking about errors here, right? Rapid try catch. What you might even do, instead of doing this, building a whole list at once, you might try saving each one individually, doing a save changes, right? And that way you can catch that and then identify, oops, we couldn't save this one. Maybe find out the reason why, add it to a message you're going to show the user eventually and things like that, right? Lots of room for improvement, but it basically gives you the chance to see it in action. Whew, all right. Well, that's the end of, now we've done step 16 and 7. Oh, no, this is just still step 16. Oh my gosh, and we've used the whole first hour. All right, well, let's take a break.